Welcome, welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. To those who are new, we're picking up from the previous episode, just so you know, and that is owning your sense of self with inner growth mindset, mindfulness, and mindset skills. Dash 5D Mystic. It's a long one, so I'm not going to ask you to tune in back into that, but just know the 5D Collective, Christ consciousness, 5D oneness consciousness, avatar consciousness. In the gist of it, you own bilateral vertical integration and you are anchored in ventral. So that means you're non-reactive. So you enjoy mindset, mindfulness, mindset practices, or you want to. And if you're working with a good therapist, great. That means you're going to be able in your own time to be accessing all of this. And here's where I've seen a lot of different lack of educated on attachment trauma between mystics and people who are not. So the reason mindfulness, yoga, Kundalini awakening, or Kundalini in and of itself, and anything energetic can have a negative, it's not a negative impact. It's that you don't own your body because you don't own your sense of self. So the thing is, there's a Patrick Tiahan, great childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing. I always say therapist, that's the person you want to go to, or a Terrio. Learn to love yourself first, and do it with your nervous system, because that's what you first and foremost are. So the ignorant, uneducated individuals, there's a bountiful of them, and then they say, I found it hard to believe that my first is alive, or they find it hard to believe that there's no demons out there. Okay, so they're contesting, contestation, however that word is, a lot of neuroscience, neurobiology, smart people, or maybe they just don't go and have all this information. I do, because I am here as a mentor, content creator, podcast host who cares about you being yourself, personal development, self-help. So I continue my education, and as a mystic, it's because I come with Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, and I got clairs, which are the same as spiritual gifts, which are the same as whatever words the scientists are using, which doesn't dismantle God. Nobody dismantles God. Faith is personal, which is also where, in my personal perspective, the fact that the spirituality community still has people using Lucifer's name, also not welcoming all of the different types of everything, Akashic record readings, tarot, Reiki, all of it. But then again, we still have so many people who are not bilaterally integrated. So again, I'm here with my collective, my community, or not mine, but a 5D group who welcomes it all, which is why when our spiritual retreats, the workshops is going to be in a different demeanor, mannerism. It's human beings coming together, not flat earthers, okay? So whether we want to talk about our Arcturian or not, it's a whole different world, because science and spirituality come together. And we use our own words, and we don't give a shit about people who don't want us to. So, that's the power of the Jaguar. The empowered feminine is a truly securely attached human being, woman or man might they be, that has the self-expression of authenticity, and that's the truth of an inner child adult. So you have the childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and you watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Anima Mundi, God, Source, Universe. You don't have a pickiness about it. In fact, you are not in any way, shape, or form a person who still is hypervigilant. I was never hypervigilant because I have an inner child. I didn't lose open-hearted spontaneity. And when we read Patrick Tiahan in our previous episode, as he says, he became freer from controlling comfort, such as isolating, which kept his world sad and small, because a 0-8-year-old is needing to be supported in a fun way, not in a way of worrying about mom, dad, brother, sister, or with a nervous system that doesn't know how to be in a securely attached, regulated, basically ventral vagal state. Okay, so when you have a child that's by themselves and they're left all alone, that's where things can get different. So anyways, we're not here to make blanket statements, but when you see people saying Kundalini is dangerous, twin flame dangerous, anything, it's not dangerous, but if you don't own your inner world, yeah, it brings shit up, which is good to go to Patrick Tiahan group, heal, and in time, once you've reparented, and you've uncharged those child parts, and then if integration is something you want, which is really great for those who do, plenty of courses where I learned all about that, and you become open to you, and you now can be the realization of authentically building a true loving connection, by the way, So he became freer again of a controlled comfort, such as isolating, which kept his world small and sad. He says, a goal is to consistently have the ability to be spontaneous and attuned with our compass. And healed hypervigilance, he says, looks like open-hearted spontaneity. And that's because now you know it's okay to be seen. It's safe to be you. Also, that people want realness. So it's safe for you to be the real you and not your false protective self. And that's where you have instead people who are going to continue the emperors and empresses who give each other golden rings and all that other stuff. So that's where we're talking about love, by the way, and it's a mix of food for thought and channeled guidance if you are new. So that's why I was mentioning also previous episodes. So the frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. You can't become your highest expression with yoga alone or mindfulness if you have a lot of laundry like that Zen master. You are better off with a Pat Ogden who does sensory motor, somatics, and probably a lot more, and a good journey, or Dr. Daniel Fox, EMDR, child parts work, mindset, whatever it is, but you get on a journey with a good therapist. Once you own your emotions, thoughts, then you have the opportunity, and people say, I don't want theory, I don't want personal development, self-help, I want it now. And that's your minute of, okay, now you have an option. Otherwise determined, as he points out, no free will. But it's with a good therapist, and here's where some people think they don't need them. It's 2025. I have been awakened to Clairland pretty much since around 2025, although I'm going to say 2027. But I had already been downloading, I just didn't know it, because again, I said yes to Holy Spirit with my catechism, and then I said, hey God, no Lucifer and the people in cloaks protect men and women, but men who hurt children, and they have some, I don't know what excuse, no, they're just protecting them. I cannot stand with people who hide people away instead of doing what is the right thing. We have laws. They are not above the law. And again, nobody wants any bad things to happen to anybody, but there's laws for reasons. Anyways, let me put that. There's a side note to that, but I'm not gonna. I want to focus on our conversation, since again, it's also a mix of channeled guidance. So for the empowered masculines, this is what I was trying to tell you already yesterday. The very scary next step, and Patrick Tiahan explains it well when he gives us the part about healed hypervigilance. Not only does it look like open-hearted spontaneity, but here's where you're going to feel it. A person who's owned their sense of self in a way of saying, okay, I come from child abuse environment, so I feel in a romantic relationship really terrified, like beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is a terror that you'll know, and you'll know where it comes from. Those are the empowered masculines I'm talking to you about. And remember, distorted feminines are masculines for an empowered feminine, because they too have a way that they will, it's not something we're going to look at. They have two different energetic imprints, again, that they're equally, now they're eternal child. They got to become their true lover, so they own their subconscious. They understand this world. They have bilateral integration, so now their soul has been retrieved. They know how to transmute pain. It's not because we're anointed. The earth don't need no twin flames to get into its 5D frequency. That's space weather, if we really must. I'm sure plenty of sciences explains a lot of things. So Gaia is not upset. Nobody is upset at us. Anyone who always interprets any of that which is source Gaia as pissed at children had a pissy parent that basically looked like a monster to them. That's how I'm going to explain it to you, because never in 1 inch of my brain will I think of God or Gaia as, oh, let me, bring wrath upon you. That is pure vengeance, anger, which only stems from a human being who will have felt so hopeless and helpless and alone. And that's why I won't be ever being like, oh, that's a bad. No, it's good. Anger means you're going to fight for your life. But then they don't make it to that empowered masculine, empowered feminine, because they go capturing each other, which is why the golden rings and these anyways, I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm just going to try and remind you again. Patrick Tiahan, I became freer from controlling comfort, such as isolating, which kept my world sad and small. A goal is to consistently have the ability to be spontaneous and attuned with our compass. And this is when it's not by yourself. You need a true romantic partner to continue what you began with a therapist or with self-aware, accountable, good therapist, however it is, but you now know healthy self-regulation. So the only way you're going to get your toes completely immersed and get out of that fear of being open-hearted spontaneously with actual vulnerability. And again, this is where don't take this if it's not resonating. Right now I'm talking, if you will, food for thought for the community members who have been tuning in since that new moon, full moon, new moon again. And I just have a bunch of people that will come in and out and stuff like that. So this is again, the fear that I was picking up on, which I told you already yesterday. It's boring. Every year it's the same thing. It's the same, and it's not the same people. The collective changes. We've had a number of waves of people awakening to the opportunity to become their true self. If they didn't choose to own their sense of self, believe me, they're nowhere. Like my facade friend, he didn't choose to move beyond what was his fear of being different. Okay, so fear of being different, I'll use him and then we'll move into more. It's not good or bad, it's that you don't feel empowered as an inner child adult. So you're still looking for your herd stumps up. Okay, and so you're not just curious about who you are and to share that with a beginner's mind, with you and others, with the confidence of your truth, and therefore you don't have any toxic tendencies, and you don't treat anybody who has unhealthy boundaries as anything except for you're going to present your healthy boundaries. Functional inner child adults, we don't get rude. We stay in our ventral because our body, we self-regulate it. Okay, so you self-regulate because you have the capacity to be your own empowered feminine, and that's why the masculines that are empowered know their next step is going to be with someone who they can open up to, and they will also share obviously their fear. That's actually the one thing that is why it's like, how do I tell whoever, however, again, not gender specific, you just do, that's it, you spell it out. If they are a healthy, self-worth, self-soothing adult, look at me. If they're a healthy person, they will listen to you. They will not shame you, and they will not become rude. If they for any reason do anything like that, they're a rude, biologically human being who basically needs a therapist and doesn't have one. So anytime somebody speaks down to somebody, they're a person who doesn't know manners. That's what you want to remember. And that's what I don't forget. It's not hard for me though. I have a whole 3-year-old heart. So again, you can't actually speak shit in my face, and yeah, maybe I'll cry for sure. I could. I'm not going to deny that, but you won't have made me say, oh my gosh, Maria, you need to change. Not really. So it's not scary when you're saying, yep, this is who I am. What do you want? I can leave. I'm okay. But again, please remember, every contest, I have a twin. So for me, it's easy to do this thing. For others, it's not. But what I spelled out is what I spelled out. So you'll know love because it's kind and it welcomes. It's compassionate. It's direct. It's not afraid. True lovers are always romantic. That's pretty straightforward because they know how to talk to you about emotions, and they know how to self-regulate, and that's why they know how to be real in relationships. That's going to happen when you own the sense of self. For the empowered feminine, it's straightforward. They're not looking for a golden ring. If there's a disowned feminine, that's a different story. And what I can tell you about the disowned feminine, let me think. The disowned feminine bothers me as an empowered feminine because they actually justify the squirrel behavior from Cusco land. Okay, so number one, they have this way of, because they got to feel, so while the masculine can get vicious with that anger, what I was describing before, the feminine is in a very different way, but it's, well, you know what, I'm going to leave it alone because they are equally horrible for an empowered feminine, which is an inner child adult, to perceive. It's just, it's sad. It's sad human beings who just could use, even Bethany, Ruth Lanius, to get over envy. I've heard a bunch of therapists how they help their clients that are envious of their own grandchildren because they didn't have child-centric environments, okay? So this is how deep it can run And it's amazing that they can know, don't feel ashamed. They don't say don't feel, they'll say remember your child environment, because child parts live through you. So anyways, I'm just saying, a person who is open right now to love, there's two sides for our 5D collective. And the empowered ones of the feminine, it's knowing that you get a really important conversation that is really scary. For the empowering and empowered at this point masculine, who knows, I'm going to continue empowering my own feminine with an empowered feminine. Empowered feminine has nothing to say, because again, you're just going to look at the masculine and this empowered feminines as people who don't know what love is at all, like my facade friend. So he disregards where I share with him, you've been broken up after 14 years. You have one friend besides me. And really, you need to give yourself some time, because you seem to think that love is only enclosed in one relationship. Love is you. Love is every day, and really just give yourself time to heal. Don't you think you need to heal? He didn't listen, and he went ahead and did stuff. He hid stuff. I'm going to leave out all that, but he spent all the money. He lived the lavish style, which is what a bunch of superficial men and women are doing. That's their thing. I mean, again, when I see the women who are mystics and they're talking about these emperors, they are actively talking about the way my facade man friend treats, and he's not the only one. And this adoring again, it's not about that. I get it, but it's the part that these are not independent lovers. These are codependent human beings that are superficially looking at money, and it's just their energy. I'm picking up on their energy, and it's like a small energy. That's not what love is. That's not what partnership is. Yeah, you can buy the rings, but I'm saying the wanting and talking about somebody catering to your every need. I'm like, what the hell? But the masculines that don't have purpose, that's what they're seeking. So that's why they catch each other, which is why I'm happy that they're going to find each other, because that's good for the soulless happiness of those people. But in the meantime, so my friend, what he gets to go through, he's happy. He's living the highlight. He is, in fact, getting ready to get married. He's like sky 9. Ship. And the rug gets pulled, and everything is kaboom. He has only one human being whom he knows is a true friend. That would be me, that wasn't speaking to him. And he did know, though, I am a person of integrity. And therefore, he reached out. And in fact, that's how we became friends. And luckily for him, as I told him, you are penniless and broke. And oh, lo and behold, you only have me, the healthy friend. Nope, no drugs, no fucking, none of that business of let's distract each other, let's distract. No, it's genuine support, real relationship. And then I find out eventually that all of the mystic stuff that I shared, uninteresting stuff like that. So the friend, I love him to death, but facades aren't in a relationship from the depths of the core. They're in it with those self-fulfilling prophecies, with the insecurities, with the fear of abandonment, with the fear. So this empowered feminines, they look forward to having those types of men like my friend, which is not a bad thing to have, because again, he cares. So he's a person who cares like any other. But I'm trying to say that they are not empowered. And empowered feminine at this point is simply knowing, if you got healthy self-worth, then you got a person. That's how I'm going to bring it to you. If you got a person who's securely attached, very bare minimum, they love themselves first. The empowered feminine, whether she's woman, man, or they, don't matter. She's going to be a securely attached person like me, who knows it's easy to love and it's easy to be in a relationship. And the minute you begin to act weird, that's it. It's not, you're gaslighting me, you're ghosting me. It's not that. That's not how an empowered feminine works. It's okay. I'm confused. I would like some answers. Okay, you know what? This is starting to get, you're going to try to have what is called a conversation. By the umpth time, you know what? Yeah, you are choosing. Great. Okay. Awesome. And that's it. And nobody's going to be looking to the past and thinking, I hope they get their karma. I hope that they hurt. I hope they see me one day with someone else. You can, of course, and everyone processes that which is being treated like a little piece of shit. No question about it. Because you know when somebody, my friend, writing me at a funeral, are you happy now? Because he didn't listen to me about what I said to him. But instead of saying, hey, I want my friend back, are you happy now? Happy about what? I'm being cheated on. No, I don't rejoice out of your misery, but you and I are not on talking basis. This was before we became friends. So people who don't take ownership of who they are, it's anyone who doesn't know what integrity means, and basically any person who doesn't own their sense of self. So it doesn't matter. My facade friend is not the only human being who doesn't know how to regulate his nervous system and ventral vagal state, or have bilateral and vertical and overall integration and all his child parts owned, and have no fear of abandonment, rejection, or be influenced by society and peer pressure and stuff like that. So empowered feminine, I'm trying to help you understand, she won't be like confused. It will not be let me talk shit about someone. It will be let me have my safe space people to talk about what important shit took place in my life. And people who think that that's trauma are the same people who don't know how to do emotions with mindfulness, mindsight, and mindset, which instead I know like to do back in my hand, because emotions, I'm a woman. Anybody remember? Oh, gender stereotypes. Can I claim that one now? So the part about what I love about being a woman and empowered is that when my friend and I get together, my facade friend, there's this one time I'm having a conversation with him. You know about this one, but in case they're new, they don't. And I had questioned a bunch of men already about this thing that my women friends were telling me. So men fucking not texting back, and they're just all like, but they're picking to date other women and da da da. Why didn't they just tell me? So I'm asking a bunch of men. I'm like, look, my girlfriends, there's a handful or 10 of them, are going through this shit. So I'm wondering, is this legit? Why wouldn't somebody just say, I'm not interested in dating you. I just wanted to have a good time. And they all answered the same, which is, again, cowards. I'm completely uninterested in cowards, is what I'm going to give you. They're cowards. Scaredy cats. Please, remove Lucifer. Allow yourself to know biologically rude people, scaredy cats. If they go and get healed, then they'll become actual human being men. So if we all learn to say you're a coward, maybe eventually, and I don't know if that would work, but my point is, I'm having conversations and I'm saying, so fear. So you're not, I'm using the words of, you don't know how to actually say things. My friend, there's one thing I love about him, unlike all those others who basically made it sound that they were doing the politically, societally correct shit because that's how they worked their mouths, which means you're not taking ownership. But it's okay, cowards, because you have no integrity. Because, again, to have integrity means you can stand and say, you know what, I am fucked up right now, and so I'll admit it, I'm an asshole. At least you said it. You're an actual asshole who's using something, and you're going to stop, obviously stop. But that's where you don't see that from cowards. So my friend, though, he's not a coward to admitting the vices, right? The vices, basically the bad habits of these gender stereotypes. And so he says, yeah, we'd rather be, he doesn't use the word coward, eventually I do. He says we'd rather be immature and clowns and buffoons than be assholes. I said, so cowards, no, assholes. We don't want to be assholes. No, you want to be cowards and not assholes. Got it. And then I'm like, I'd rather be an asshole than a coward. But hey, that's just me. And so as we're finishing up, he's contemplating what we're talking about. And he doesn't expand from this moment either. Why? Because, again, when you don't stand for who you are, it means you don't have faith in your capacity to make it as the essence of that child that lives within you, which is why you can't impose on somebody to get their inner child alive and uncharged and to overcome, again, fear, abandonment, rejection. These are childhood wounds. Only the person with the insecurity will have the opportunity, and now we're having him and I, that's why the empowered feminine is a conversation where you will be given the opportunity to think about something. We all have the empowered feminine. We all can bring to each other wholeness. This is all this is. Please remember, we all are wholeness when we are our own sense of self and empowered feminines. Man or woman, you are all like I, a nervous system, embodied first. Stephen Porges, come on in. So I'm in my ventral, you can be in your ventral, and if you easily are, this is what the empowered feminine is. So for the masculines, as I said, they're being given the opportunity, because now they know the empowered feminine of their own, to know open spontaneity with another human being, but in a serious way, which is scary since they didn't have that. This empowered feminine, basically, in this empowered feminine's case, it's forgiving the unfortunate business of unsafety of the masculine. And I can give you the explanation because this empowered feminine will have felt most, that's why they choose the bear and not the man. Okay, so it's not that they're disempowered, no, it's because of this part about the complementary, bringing to each other something which they haven't. And the people who want to create conspiracies, it's just not. If you look at our history, it makes sense to me when I look at where we come from and how we evolved. And so our physical, as a woman, physical strength, I'm nothing. A man is always going to be stronger. So the minute that you are going to physically ambush me, you will have made me know I'm helpless and that I am therefore, this is why that man who's getting interviewed by that lady and he's doing the choking thing, that's just, I can't even believe she's not talking about that. Then that man, you know how many women would want that man? I'd be like, if I were a giant, I would just be like, and that's the reason why I'm not a giant, because hands don't resolve anything. But if I were a giant, what I would want to do is, but even again, that's silly because it doesn't achieve anything, because you don't achieve helping a person enlighten about what's coming out of their mouth by attacking them. It doesn't do anything, which is why ego continues to be stupid. Because my hands and me beating you up, yeah, sure, maybe you'll be in physical pain. I didn't enlighten you. I didn't make any difference. And no, it doesn't feel better. The only people who feel better with taking their anger out on other people are the same ones who were made to feel helpless and hopeless. When you're not felt hopeless or helpless, you don't feel that way. You just say, this is pointless. Anger is pointless because me and anger in this moment won't do anything except perpetuate what you actually are doing on screen without even any concern. But the woman who's interviewing you isn't looking at you and saying, excuse me? So what? I mean, so we need less shouting and empowered feminines and masculines and all who are like, okay, that's coward. You're a coward is what you are, and you have pent up anger, and it's conversations that they need. Doesn't mean they're going to choose it. That's why you got the fancy man and woman in suits, so they can keep on acting like assholes together. But they won't be in a lover relationship with us, that's for sure. And they're not Lucifer either. Please give it a rest. They can end up in prison, and hopefully a good therapist gets. That's what I do. I surround them all with therapists. That's my mystical power tool. So, point is that the woman or the feminine will have become very well aware of the masculines, very not in any way, shape, or form fascinating way. And that's all I have to say. So I can understand the distorted feminines. Just doesn't make it better because it doesn't. Masculines are the idiots of the situation. I don't like saying it, but that's exactly what happens when you got a left mode that just wants linear and doesn't allow themselves to feel feelings and ignores that they have feelings and continues to play the act of Cusco when you're not having feelings. And you want me to do what? So emotional unavailability is unattractive and it's uninteresting. And that's why the masculine is boring to an empowered feminine. The disempowered feminines, it's understandable, it doesn't justify it. At the end of the day, what you can know is that love has consistently been in the air. That today we can know that true lovers have also consistently been there. Also being real in relationships. And so that no, there's not only facade people. As for who they are, they don't own their sense of self, and they're going to continue being in the relationship soul age, which is why we're not really going to do much about it. But for the collective that I was channeling and that I am still chit-chatting with, it's about those who know what it means to have integrity, and that it's not the bear, it's not the man, it's not the woman, it's not just one thing, it's society as a whole. Guess how many people have, oh my gosh, oh, here's one story I have for you. I'm out with some of my friends and at this point, thank goodness for me, I have definitely a good way of handling all things, okay? So I'm happy as can be, and that's with T1, and I'm doing life as Maria Mystic. And I'm moving forward. I finished my master's, so anyways, I'm hanging out with these are family friends, and we're going out with some of their friends. These are all couples. My stuff is always very private, but my girlfriend, she knows all my stuff. But anyways, we're in a group, and they're chit-chatting, and I'm in the presence of men and women who ask each other for permission to go on vacation. And I'm hearing the women, some of them basically can't go, but the men can go. And then, and I just, and I'm like, so excuse me. So you ask him for permission. He doesn't have to. And then you do what? So I'm like, and that is the, and I'm asking, and at the same time, I'm like, why do you do that? And then I just leave it alone. And on my way home with my friend, I'm like, what is this? Is this their parents? Like, what the fuck? And I'm in my mid-20s, okay? So I have met couples. This is Italy, but I've met couples in America. They check each other's email. They answer for each other. They basically, this is the part of why I said relationship so age group. So there are people who are totally all in on that. I'm like, yeah, no, please. Don't you even dare remotely treat me like a child. Like, that's bullshit. And what the fuck? Me check your mail? That's insulting. We don't have a conversation. We don't talk about everything. But yeah, I ain't asking you for permission. I'm telling you. And I only had one relationship that had a little bit of this shit going on, and that was one of the things that I laughed about with myself. But yeah, you don't tell me to go on vacation or not. So anyways, again, empowered people. We don't look to tuck each other in the heart of anyone. We look to tuck each other near whole hearts. And that's why an empowered feminine can tell you, woman, that yeah, if it's an emotionally unavailable anything, no, you're gonna be not treated like a piece of shit, because we know what it means to actually be aware that you're so emotionally afraid that I actively have to put gloves on, but I will be looking to the bed. No, I don't have to do anything, actually. Silence. Hello, silence, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again, which is what I love about the avoidance. Oh, thank goodness, because they shut you out, and as Terry Real points out, they're unhealthy, because usually the men end up being that anyways. So it's like, it's good. An empowered feminine is like, okay, I don't perceive them, you're not annoying me, and I don't need to do anything because I'm continuing with my life. There we go. Be anxious, I don't have any of that, but when I have had, it's been women, and I'm like, okay, look, I don't do it on purpose. I'm busy, and they're not girlfriends in the sense of romantic. Okay, so anytime you meet an empowered, inner securely attached man, woman, or they're not going to be like, hey, and when we are concerned and worried, and we do make you notice, we will actively learn how not to do the let me curse at you. But again, not insult you, but curse. Oh, and that is where you can always be grateful for learning about mental, emotional, and physical mastery thanks to our oversoul. Every single one of my oversoul members, I thanked them to the death of me. That's what you're going to know about a true lover, and that's why we know love, because we don't look to the past and say, I don't love anybody anymore. Nope, I love more people, and that's because I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh and learn and not cast stones and dance. And it's a groovy kind of love. So empowered women, empowered men. The beauty is this, is that it's healthy, self-worth people with securely attached in worlds. We got a bunch of therapists working with those who want it. They're a securely attached world. Don't you worry about a thing, and that's for real, not pretend. And as for those who want each other in a way of codependency, they're going to find each other because there's a rainbow. Remember, please, the variety. We're not here to cast stones, as Jesus taught us. We're here to forgive, as Stephen Porges has confirmed, and as Robert Sapolsky has mentioned, determined, no free will. So let's leave alone the people who do not know how to do Dharma. They're mystics. They're not. Doesn't matter the voices of the angels and the matrix and Godinsses and synchronicities. It's the earth. Where's my earth? Where's the intelligent Gaia? She loves us. She won't eat us up alive. Don't you worry. Again, the ones who are pissy at human beings, they don't know their authentic self, and they're not jaguars. The ones of us who know what earth does, like God, and that is, it always balances itself out, which is why love always wins, because God always wins. Once again, Lucifer. Nope, no Lucifer, just unresolved trauma people, which won't win, because it's low frequency. Also, bad stress, it's called distress for a reason. So while they do not anchor in their ventral, and they therefore do not learn to do good stress, we do. I'm still the same scaredy cat. I still have all the emotions, and as my somatic therapist teachers taught me, it's called an angry Buddhist, but I'm not a Buddhist. I'm a Catholic Christian, and I'm a mystic. So remember, we don't have this pain laundry stuff. We have an inner child that says, I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh, and he loves to learn. And if I'm in my subconscious, I'm not by myself. I'm going to be a soul that's sharing with my other souls. So we will be back with more and more curiosity tomorrow. And that's because it's our Friday. So we're going to have some channel guidance messages. Thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe to our paid subscription-based model opportunities that will be fan-based and on Spotify for practical videos with mindset, mindfulness, and mindsight, and or one and or all. We'll see as we get the subscribers. Once we have a certain amount of numbers, I'll start rolling out with some of that content for you, okay? And for fan base, it will be video. For podcasts on Spotify, it will have video, but on the other podcast platforms it plays on, it will only be audio, because that's how Spotify for Creators works. And you can always ask me questions. Email for one-to-one mentorship opportunities and inquiries, and for the masterclass sign-up sheet, and then for the spiritual retreats and workshops. Again, thank you for stopping by. Share love.